U.S. President Obama said Sunday's mass shooting was an act of terror. It comes as federal agents say the shooter was, quote, a known quantity to law enforcement. CCTV's Roee Ruttenberg picks up that part of the story from the newsroom. Roee?
Well, Susan, this is the 15th time during his time at the White House that President Barack Obama has spoken on camera after a mass shooting. He quickly labeled this a terrorist act, which sometimes doesn't happen so quickly, and that's left many wondering exactly what do authorities know about the man who killed all of these people. U.S. federal authorities believe the triggerman in Orlando's mass shooting on Sunday may have been inspired by ISIL. This after a 911 call before the shooting spree in which 29-year-old Omar Mateen reportedly pledged his allegiance to the Islamic group. Speaking after the shooting, U.S. President Barack Obama said he had instructed the FBI to investigate this as an act of terrorism.
I've directed that we must spare no effort to determine what, if any, inspiration or association this killer may have had with terrorist groups.
Authorities had actually interviewed Mateen in previous years on at least 2 separate occasions. In 2014, they said they were investigating his communications with Munir Abu Salha, a U.S. national who traveled to Syria to train with al-Qaeda's Nusra Front, then returned to the U.S., then went back to Syria and carried out a suicide bombing, the first American to do so in Syria's ongoing civil war. The investigation did not lead authorities to consider Mateen an active threat. But on Sunday, the ISIL-linked Amaq news agency released this statement, saying the club attack was carried out by an Islamic State fighter. It was a reminder to many of the December 2015 shooting spree in San Bernardino, California. A husband and wife believed to be influenced by radical Islam gunned down 14 people at a holiday work party before being killed by police. Prior to Sunday's attack, the deadliest recent mass shooting in the U.S. was from 2007. Then a Korean student killed 32 people on the Virginia Tech campus before eventually killing himself. There have been others. Columbine High School in 1999. 2 teens killed 12 students and a teacher before taking their own lives. In 2012 in Connecticut, 20 children and 6 adults were killed at Sandy Hook Elementary School. Last year in South Carolina, a white supremacist shot and killed 9 people at an African-American church Bible study. The list goes on and on. The classification of Sunday's shooting as terrorism now allows federal authorities to access specific metadata to try to trace down who the shooter was speaking to, when, what he was reading, and how often. The classification also makes this the deadliest terror attack on U.S. soil since 9/11. Now, in the past, mass shootings quickly led to a debate in the U.S. about gun laws, which can vary from state to state. In his remarks, President Obama didn't specifically call for tougher gun policies, but did criticize how easy it can be for some to get weapons and told Americans, quote, we have to decide if that's the kind of country we want to be. Susan?
So, Roee, amid all the shock and sadness, many in the LGBT community are saying the show must go on, perhaps with increased security and vigilance?
That's right, and as you mentioned earlier, this is what's called Pride Month. That month called Pride Month by Barack Obama. As a result, there are events across the country, including here in Washington, D.C. And on Sunday, the National Capitol Pride event continued as scheduled, but you can see there increased security with barricades. It's normally an open-air event on Pennsylvania Avenue. A lot of security, not just there, but at other events across the country. New York's governor also said that he will beef up security presence at areas of public gatherings, and also we're hearing the same from police in San Francisco. There's also been specific vigils being held. There you see a choir at one of the events holding a special song session in memory of the people who were killed there in Florida. But we've also seen vigils in Florida and around the country honoring those who were killed and saying, as you've mentioned, that the show must go on. A few minutes ago, the Tony Awards started, a very popular show followed by a lot of gay and lesbian Americans, loyal following there. One of the lead shows, Hamilton, will be performing tonight about the former U.S. Treasury Secretary James Hamilton. It will be performed, the cast says, without muskets, without guns on stage, as a message of solidarity with those who were killed in that shooting spree in Orlando.